this episode, I want to teach you how to customize a keynote for ourselves. So, firstly, in order to create customized keynotes based on the standards of your own organization or your own company, firstly, I should create a notepad file. So, firstly, I create a text document. Then I assign a name for it, whatever you want. My keynotes, for instance. And then version 1, for example. Then I open it. Afterwards, for creating such a keynotes, firstly, the structure is like this. That we have to specify the category or the heading, okay? For the title, I can define concrete. Then I press down enter to go to the next line. Then for the subcategories includes a description, a code, and also the category. So C001 for the code. Watch this, here it is the code. Then I press down tab. After that, I add the description. Concrete 150. Watch this. So, and then I specify the category, which is concrete. Then I can make some copies out of this. For instance, true, tree, and the codes must be unique, but the description can be duplicated. 250, 300, and so on. So this was the first category of the keynotes. Then we go for the next category, which is brick. Then B001, we press down tab, then brick 5 centimeters. Then I press down tab to specify the category, which is brick. The next one, B220, and brick 10 centimeters, brick. Then I save this file as, and then from Revit software, I copy the full file path. Then from Keynote settings, browse for the new notepad. I paste the file path here to call for it, like this way. View, watch this. The keynotes are added here, as you can see. And note that if we define duplicated codes, for instance, 002, or if I make a copy out of this and I specify 4 for this, but I remove the heading. Control S to save it. Then I reload it. Watch this. Duplicate code C002 description concrete 300s. So it is duplicated and we have to set a unique code. As you can see, and the item that its heading is not determined is provided in a new category, and also we have to set a unique for the third item, like this way. Right now we determine this. Control S to save the file, and then again click on OK, reload, like this way. Watch this, they are OK and revise without any error messages. And the next method, in order to create the keynotes in a more regular way, is that firstly we should specify the headings of the keynotes. For example, you may want to define some specific codes based on the standards of your company. For instance, B, bricks, and then the blocks, the headings, the metals, and For instance, concrete, and let me move on, finishings, and so on. After that, we can add a description for each of the headings. For instance, all types of bricks are categorized in this section. I paste this for all, press down tab, and then I add it for all. I copy the blocks and metal to replace it with bricks, and concrete to be replaced with bricks. This is optional, that you can ignore it. Okay, the descriptions are optional. Okay, afterwards in the continuation we're gonna add the titles. For instance, let me start from a number like 301, press down tab, then brick, again press down tab, brick, 1, then I specify bricks for the headings, then enter to the next line. Let me define this, brick 2 in bricks heading. Let me adjust the coding here. Then for the blocks, 3 block 1 in blocks headings. The next 3 zeros for block 2 blocks, Control S to save the notepad. And then I wanna reload the new file, new text document, and view. Watch this, we got the blocks, bricks, concrete, finishings, and metal, like this way. Check it out. And the important point here is that in this method we got the keynote text for each of the key values. As you can see here, we got the headings, but the subcategories are not added yet, but the keynote text does exist. Anyway, by this way you can create your keynotes based on the standards of your company. And I recommend this second method, since you can easily organize your keynotes, so you can provide them in a regular way in order, like this way. And the next point for the users, that they use the keynotes in other languages except English. I close this. Then I make a copy out of this version 2, paste it, then I open this. Afterwards I want to change the texts. For instance, I want to add a Persian description that all types of blocks or bricks are categorized. I copy out of this, Control C, Control V to paste it for the other headings or key values. Blocks, metals, concrete, and finishings. Then in the continuation for the metals, then concrete, and for the finishings, like this way. Finishings. So for the codes and the headings, I can add the brick 3 centimeters or brick, I want to add other type of bricks. Then for the block, Leica block 15 centimeters, and block or Leica block 20 centimeters. Control C, Control V to paste them, like this way. Number 5, 6, and for the finishing, I replace it for these 3 or 2 last items. And the next one, gypsum board, like this way. Very well. Then I save this file as. Right now, if I, like this way, I browse for the Keynote. As you can see, the Keynote is loaded even if I have mentioned it in Persian language, but as you can see, the descriptions or the Keynote text is not readable. Watch this. So this is because of the Windows, not because of the Revit software, since we cannot add the Persian or Arabic texts in Notepad. Watch this, UTF-8, as you can see. So I save this file as, and then I set the encoding to UTF-16LE version 2.1. I change the encoding and then I reload the new version. Right now, if I click on view, watch this, all of them are shown accurately, so we can use the Arabic fonts as well. However, according to these descriptions, we can use the keynotes for element keynotes, materials, and the user keynotes, like this way. For instance, here I have opened a CAD file, and we got a finishing table for all of the elements in the CAD file. That we can check the finishing materials for the floors, ceilings, walls, and also floors, that we can add them in the keynotes. And in the projects, I mean the projects that we do them, we can develop them, and after it is completed, so we got all of the materials used in the project in a table completely, so we can use them in the keynotes, that we can save our time in creating the keynotes. For instance, we can categorize the finishing for the floors, for the walls, for the or other types of the projects in kitchens, in rooms, in or just categorizing the different types of concretes or doors or ceramics. All in all, you can complete your keynotes based on your finishing tables. For instance, let me open a project, this template file, and then I wanna use a keynote that has been defined based on the finishing table. Let me show it to you in the Annotate tab. View. Watch this. We got all of the headings categorized that we can develop the keynotes as much as the project moves forward. I mean, here we got some headings like aluminium, block, carpet, ceiling, ceramics, concrete, or others, as you can see. For floors, for instance, in floors we got some materials and FL, and I have used CR for ceramic for the headings. And note that these descriptions are optional, that you can use them based on the standards of your company, or even based on the CSI 1995 or 2004. However, we can brush aside the CSI and then define the keynote texts based on your company's standards and disciplines, and have them completed like this way. So this is about Keynote that is very helpful in your projects, in the real world projects, that they must have keynotes for adding commands to the elements And also for user keynotes or for the materials, we can use the material keynotes instead of the material tags. Since we can manage them professional than the material tags, and we'll talk about these when we get to the material section. And as I mentioned, you have to specify the keynote in identity tab for the materials. So then we can place the keynotes in the elements that they got the assigned material. Watch this, these materials are updated. I can set them to text as you can see, or text number on the box.